Hey kids, Flexing Teacher Weber here. Hope you're having a good day. I wanted to take some time today to do a couple of fraction problems that were related to division. So we'll do a couple of them here. Number one, it says it takes 2.5 scoops of flour to make 1 cake. How many cakes do 15 scoops of flour make? Okay, well, whenever we're doing a problem, you don't necessarily need to do, some sort of fraction operation. Maybe we could look at some of the strategies we've done before, like guessing and checking or using a chart. So let's take a look at using a chart to solve this problem. So we're comparing cakes and flour. So I'm going to make a little chart that compares cakes and flour. Okay, and it says it takes 2.5 scoops to make 1 cake. How many cakes do 15 scoops of flour make? Well, if I follow what the problem says, 1 cake will be 2.5 scoops of flour. And 2 cakes will be 5 scoops of flour. And 3 cakes will be 7.5 scoops of flour. And 4 cakes will be 10 scoops of flour. And 5 cakes will be 12.5 scoops of flour. And 6 cakes will be 15 scoops of flour. So I can make 6 cakes from 15 scoops of flour. Now, what are we doing here? This is a perfectly reasonable solution, awesome solution. If you did that and answered in a sentence, 100%. But we can also think of it as a division problem. We're seeing how many 2.5 scoops will fit inside of 15, because 1 cake is 2.5 scoops. So if we know how many 2.5s fit inside of 15, we will get the number of cakes. So we could think of it a division problem like this. We could think of it as 15 divided by 2.5. How many 2.5s are in 15? Because 2.5 scoops of flour is 1 cake. So how many cakes are in 15 scoops of flour? Well, if we use the idea of keep, change, flip, 15 over 1 divided by 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5 over 2. Then keep, change, flip, 15 over 1 times 2 over 5. After that, we want to simplify our diagonals. We can simplify 15 and 5. 5 divided by 5, 1. 15 divided by 5, 3. We have 3 times 2 and 1 times 1, which is 6 over 1, which is 6. So either way you do it, you still get the same answer. You can make 6 cakes. So wanted to do that question to show you what it means to divide fractions. In this case, we were trying to figure out how many cakes are in 15 scoops of flour. So how many 2.5 scoops are in 15 scoops? And the order of the numbers matters, right? If I would have reversed this and did 2.5 divided by 15, that's a completely different situation. Let's look at one more. Ryden used 2 5/6 loaves of bread to make sandwiches for lunch. That's a lot of sandwiches. That's almost 3 loaves of bread. He made equal numbers of 4 different types of sandwiches. I wonder what he made. Maybe peanut butter and jelly, ham and cheese, turkey, and bologna. So in this case, we're taking loaves of bread and breaking them into 4 different groups. So in this case, we're taking 2 5/6 and we're breaking it into 4 parts. So the order matters. We're taking the bread and breaking it into 4 equal parts. After you've figured that out, the rest is just dividing fractions. 2 and 5, 6, change it to improper. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 5 is 17 over 6, divided by 4 over 1. Make them both improper. Now keep change flip. 17 over 6 times 1 over 4. No simplifying to do here, so we're left with 17 times 1 and 6 times 4. 17 over 24. What fraction of a loaf of bread did Ryden use for each type of sandwich? He used 17 over 24 of a loaf of bread. Maybe we could think of that as a benchmark fraction that's closer to 17 over 24. If I rounded the 17 to 18, so if I said this was 18 over 24, and I put that fraction in lowest terms by dividing by 3, or actually I can divide by 6, right? Let's do that. Divide by 6, divide by 6. I'd get that equals 3 out of 4. That makes more sense now. So he was using about 3/4 of a loaf of bread on each sandwich. That's a fraction that 17 over 24 is close to. So this is the correct answer. But this makes way more sense to me, just understanding the size of the fraction. He's using 3/4 of a loaf of bread, and that's how we'd probably say it in real life, right? I might answer like that, just to show I really understand. Ryden uses about 3/4 of a loaf for each kind of sandwich. Okay, so this is the exact answer right here, but this 3/4 helps us understand it a bit better. So the assignment I'm going to give you today is going to have more dividing fractions and mixed numbers, but it's also going to have some word problems that involve dividing, and it's going to be important you understand what the problem means so that you write it correctly. You write the correct division statement. So use these 2 examples as your guides. I hope that helps. That's all for now. Have a good day. Flexing Teacher Weber out.